Justice will find you.
Don't do this to me. Don't ruin my life.
Malice behind your eyes.
Put her in the bathtub and shock her into waking up.
That which defines you.
The babysitter in Sandy Springs
Eating at your broken mind.
is now charged with murder of the death of a 2-year-old girl.
And they cry.
This injury doesn't just appear out of nowhere. Do you know that accidents happen all the time? I do.
Justice for Fallon. Never forget what they did. Justice for Fallon. You couldn't break her smile.
29-year-old mother of two, Kirsty Flood, began babysitting 2-year-old Fallon Lynn Fridley in August of 2020. This went on for 4 months, 3 days a week, without incident. But on December 9th, the nightmare began when Fallon was found unresponsive in Kirsty's care before being rushed to the hospital. Various injuries on the toddler's body led to an investigation that would send shockwaves through the local community. Crying voices laced with rage screamed in unison. Justice for Fallon.
I tried to call and text Kirsty several times, and calls were going straight to voicemail.
I'm Mr. Black, and this is the disturbing truth.
He said, "Should we just go get her?" And I said, "No, she'll be fine." I regret that now every day.
On Wednesday, December 9th of 2020, just 16 miles from Atlanta, Georgia, in a town called Sandy Springs, a typical day began for Kristen Fridley, or Chris, and her 2-year-old daughter, Fallon. The toddler was woken up at 6 a.m., dressed and given her morning snack, along with a cup of almond milk. Kristen told her daughter that she loved her, and received the usual sweet reply of,
"I love that. You're sweetheart."
Before Fallon and her stepfather Cameron Gant left the house. Cameron would drop Fallon off at the babysitter's house at around 6:30 a.m. before heading on to work. Chris worked as a veterinary technician for an animal rescue organization while Cameron was a landscaper. When Fallon's daycare closed during COVID, Chris's friend of about 5 years, Kirsty Flood, would look after the little girl while the couple worked. In many ways, it would have seemed like the ideal situation. Kirsty was a close, long-term friend. So close, in fact, that years prior, she helped Chris come out of a struggle with addiction. Kirsty was seemingly worthy of the trust bestowed on her, especially considering the history she and Chris shared. And even more especially after 4 months of constant reliability in her care. Chris said herself that Fallon seemed so happy in Kirsty's care that some days when they would come to pick her up, she didn't even want to leave.
Hey, Fallon, come here. High five.
High five! You're so funny.
I love you. High five.
Flood had 2 children herself, an 8-month-old and a 3-year-old daughter named Harper. Fallon and the 3-year-old were best friends. Everything seemed like the perfect setup. While Chris was at work on December 9th, she received a text around 1:30 p.m. from Kirsty, asking if Fallon could stay the night at her house. In 4 months of babysitting, Fallon had never stayed overnight at Kirsty's, but Chris had no reason to suspect anything was off with the request. After all, 2-year-old Fallon and 3-year-old Harper were best friends. If anything, it just looked like a sleepover in good company, with familiar, trustworthy people. People who had been there when Chris herself was struggling. What harm could it do? Chris called Kirsty when she got off work at around 4:30 p.m., but got no answer. When she texted Kirsty asking how Fallon was doing, Kirsty responded saying that Fallon was fine, but they were all at the park and her phone was about to die. While odd, it didn't send off any immediate red flags. Later, Chris tried to call and text Kirsty several times, but all those calls went straight to voicemail. Stepfather Cameron was starting to feel uneasy at this point and even suggested that perhaps they should just go pick Fallon up. But still, Chris thought there was no major cause for concern because Kirsty was someone she trusted and even looked up to.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday Happy birthday to you. Yay! Blow the candle. Blow it. Blow it.
Blow it!
At around 6:30 p.m., Kirsty finally messages Chris to say that everyone is home and safe. Chris replies with no problem and asks if she can FaceTime Fallon. Kirsty tells Chris to give her an hour to charge her phone first. Then an hour later, Kirsty FaceTimes Chris from a very dim-lit room where Fallon appears to be propped up on the bed. Kirsty explains to Chris that Fallon has just woken up from a nap. Chris said the phone was roughly 5 feet from her daughter, and while she didn't notice anything visibly off in the dim room, Fallon was not responding to her mother. This was out of character according to Chris and Cameron. Then when Chris asked Fallon if she wanted to talk to Daddy and passed the phone to Cameron, the call suddenly ended. Cameron again suggested going to pick Fallon up, but again, Chris declined, a decision she regrets to this day. A couple of hours later, at around 9:20 p.m., Chris receives a crying phone call from a hysterical Kirsty Flood, telling her that she needs to come to Kirsty's apartment immediately. She claimed Fallon had hit her head on a slide and wasn't moving. Paramedics were already on the scene working on the little girl at this time. An officer got on the phone and asked if Chris and Cameron could meet them at the hospital. Next, Chris Fridley found herself facing a parent's worst fear. She was standing in a room at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta with Cameron and her mother. They were in there for what felt like hours. It was a small private room, the kind one might expect to see in an emergency department. This was the kind of room that no one wants to be in. The kind of room with walls that rarely echo good news. Chris demanded to know what was going on and begged to see her daughter, but her pleas were denied. Fallon was alive, and the doctors were running tests and doing everything they could to stabilize the 2-year-old, a 2-year-old whose mother was getting angry. Chris couldn't understand why she couldn't be beside the angel she created, but looking back, she now assumes that she too may have been initially suspected, and what the world now knows was a horrific case of child abuse. The doctor came into the room randomly with updates too vague to conclude anything inherently negative or positive from, but one thing stood out to Fallon's mother, a question he asked in repetition.
What happened to your daughter?
Chris was distraught, confused, maybe even offended at the audacity. Was she getting blamed for something? What exactly had happened to her daughter? She had no idea.
I was asking to see Fallon. They said not yet, we're working on her, and they wouldn't let me see her.
The only information she'd been given was that her daughter had fallen off a slide and hit her head. But the doctor explained that Fallon's injuries were not conducive to playground injuries. In fact, he'd never seen a child recover from damages as severe as those he'd seen on the 2-year-old's body. Simply put, Fallon would need nothing short of a miracle to survive.
Does your daughter have any health conditions?
The doctor asked a now hysterical Chris. But apart from a mild heart murmur that had seemingly mended itself by the child's 2-year checkup, the answer was no, she didn't. Not that anyone was aware of anyway. But it was clear that Fallon's injuries were nothing to do with a heart murmur. The doctor left the room again. In that moment, a calmness washed over Chris. It was as if a part of her brain shut off. Unfortunately for the family of Fallon Fridley, what Chris refers to as a sweet glaze of denial was nothing more than the calm before the storm. A few moments later, an older man entered the room and introduced himself as the chaplain. But Chris didn't want to see a chaplain. Her daughter was going to be fine. She was offended by his presence because it alluded to a tragedy that she believed was not going to occur. The doctor said himself a miracle could save Fallon, and in her mother's mind, that's exactly what was going to happen. That's what had to happen. When the family was moved to the PICU waiting room, they thought they were finally going to get to see their little girl.
The doctor came in and said we have her stable, but critical.
So Chris and Cameron were relieved, and seeing as the PICU room had a bed in it, they began to discuss what they needed from home in order to stay overnight. But the problem was, when they were told the words stable but critical, they only heard the word stable. A new female doctor greeted them in the PICU room to discuss Fallon's condition and have the family sign off on some medical procedures. One of these procedures involved inserting a catheter into the child's leg. On the form it read, 90% chance of recovery. But the doctor's expression indicated that sadly, this was not the case for Fallon. 90% was only relative to the success of the procedure itself, not the little girl's chance of survival. Fallon had immense internal bleeding, zero brain activity, and her heart was only working because of the medication she was being given. If it wasn't for medical intervention, the 2-year-old wouldn't be breathing. But as far as Chris was concerned, a miracle could still occur. Her daughter wasn't dead if her heart was still beating. No matter what they told her, there was still hope. If Fallon was alive, she could pull through. But as much as Kristen Fridley couldn't accept the information she was given, she was about to have to face the truth of the matter. As a cold blue was called to the doctor that stood before her, Chris's life would forever change with 5 simple words. Her heart stopped beating again. After the family was asked to follow the doctor out of the room and down the hall, they were led into another room where they finally got to see their baby girl. But it wasn't how any parent should ever have to see their child. It was a total nightmare. The family watched in horror as so many doctors tried to keep Fallon alive. Chest compression after chest compression after chest compression. I can't imagine the trauma that a parent would face witnessing something like that. The doctor informed the family that they would have to make the call soon. If they didn't, they'd only be doing more harm than good. Chris began to scream and beg for them to save her daughter's life. She said her legs gave out and she almost hit the floor, but someone caught her. She was hysterical, as anyone would be. When you have a 2-year-old, your life is in that child. You live your life knowing that every step you take leads to the protection and safety of that soul you created. You would never concede, you would never give up on them. It just isn't possible. But while Kristen screamed for God to take her instead of Fallon, her cries fell upon deaf ears. The CPR stopped. The nurses and doctors backed away from the little girl's bedside, and the room went silent. Chris rushed to her daughter, crying out and begging her to wake up, but she wouldn't. She was gone. A nearby nurse gently picked up Fallon and placed her into her mother's arms. Kristen Fridley held her daughter there as she stroked her hair and kissed her face until her own screams became mumbles, mutterings that still begged for her daughter Fallon to wake up. And as she sat there, she felt the baseball-sized knot on the back of Fallon's head.
At 1:18, they let me hold her, and I could just feel the back of her head, how swollen it was, and her body was purple. She didn't look like my Fallon, and I probably stayed there with her for an hour, just holding her. This is what I see every night before I go to bed.
Fallon Lynn Fridley died on December 10th, 2020, in a hospital with the people who loved her the most right by her side. And while Fallon may very well be in a better place, the ones that stood near as she took her last breath wanted answers. What really happened to that innocent little girl? An autopsy of Fallon Fridley shows the child sustained a skull fracture as well as multiple internal injuries, including lacerations to her liver, her spleen, and even her colon. A medical examiner ruled the death as homicide by blunt force trauma. According to babysitter Kirsty Flood, Fallon fell and hit her head on the slide while at a park on December 9th. When they returned home to apartments on Monterey Parkway in Sandy Springs, Kirsty said she noticed the little girl was acting a little strange, so she put her to bed. Then later she claims Fallon wouldn't wake up. EMS responded to a 911 call regarding the child being unresponsive. After arriving at the apartment and administering CPR, Fallon Fridley was transported to the hospital where she would sadly pass away the following day. That same day, Kirsty is brought in to be interviewed by police regarding the matter. What you're about to see has never been seen by the public. You're going to witness the police interviews of both Kirsty Flood and her boyfriend, Jeffrey Myers. The details that unfold during the following series of interrogations are hard to hear, but listening to them helps paint a picture to better understand how things transpired the final day that Fallon Fridley was in the care of Kirsty Flood.
All right, Kirsty. This is my partner, Detective Pearson.
Hello, Miss Person.
Hello.
Is it related up? I think it's so stuck being here.
Yeah, I'm already hot. I'm always hot, and I'm always still thirsty.
Gotcha. Well, it's hard because, like, right now we're in the weather where you can get cold.
You can wear a sweatshirt and shorts at the same time.
Yeah, it's so jacked up right now. Sorry, my notes are all jacked up right now because it's been one of those days, unfortunately.
Get that.
Sorry.
After the officers introduce themselves to Kirsty, the leading detective preps his notes to begin questioning. Kirsty asks if he's met Fallon's mother.
See, you met her mom?
What's that?
You met her mom?
I did, yeah.
How's she doing?
She's obviously upset. I mean, I don't think there's any way to not be right now, not be upset. But she's upset. I met,
Cameron?
Cameron, met him as too. I reserve judgment, because that's what I do.
Yeah.
We
can then tell.
Well, ma'am, what I'm so I'm coming in, like, when you see me walking in late, that means I have absolutely no idea, or I really don't know what's going on. So can you tell me what happened to catch me up? Because, again, that's why I'm not asking any questions, because I don't know exactly what's happening. So I just wanted to hear your side.
You didn't talk already?
No, actually.
They came in late, so...
I've been so busy at the hospital and doing other things that, I haven't even talked to him yet.
Okay, can I ask you one question?
Mm-hmm.
How come they did this so fast?
Did what so fast?
Just let her go.
What do you mean, let her go?
They won't let it fight.
She's still at the hospital.
She's okay.
I mean, she's not doing okay, but she's still at the hospital.
She's okay.
Like I said, well, she's not doing good.
But she can't be okay.
I don't know.
She still have a heartbeat.
Heart's still beating.
God.
Heart's still beating.
God has a plan then.
It seems like the detective is caught off guard by the fact that Kirsty is unaware that Fallon has died. This may alter how he initially planned to conduct his questioning going forward.
If you have a heartbeat, you have a chance.
Yeah, her heart is still beating.
Thank God. Thank God. Thank God.
And Kirsty, I don't think...
What did I do? They were going to tell me she was gone.
Who said that?
The officer.
No, she's not. She's not gone. Her heart's still beating.
Why did you tell me that?
Honestly, probably just miscommunication.
Apparently, officers don't have to tell the truth during questioning. And since they've already led Kirsty to believe Fallon is alive, they probably realize she's more likely to continue to talk to them truthfully if she thinks a murder charge is off the table. At this point, if she were to admit to assaulting a child, it's a much lesser charge if that child is still alive, rather than if her crimes resulted in that child's death. And if Kirsty asks for a lawyer, the interview is over. Hope is a powerful tool in many interrogations. As long as Kirsty Flood has hope, she's likely to talk.
Just confirming, Kirsty, your last name's Flood, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Sometimes I can't even read my own writing. I'm just writing so fast and just, yeah.
We're good. So you all don't do the last thing, or what?
We do. Would you feel better if I had a mask on?
No, I just prefer to speak.
Yeah.
And not be, you know what I mean?
The hope that we mentioned before, coupled with the leading detective's calm, casual, friendly demeanor, could be the cause of Kirsty fully removing her mask. Maybe she's starting to relax into the situation and believes she's not in as much trouble as she once may have thought. You'll notice her tone of voice becomes more stable, and her need to hide behind the mask disappears.
I typically watch Fallon 4 days a week, roughly. I've been with my company for 6 years, so I'm getting paid unemployment to stay home. I'm also in school for cybersecurity. I have a newborn, a 3, almost 4-year-old, and Fallon is 2. Like I said, I'm with her 3-4 days a week. Me and her mom, we've been through a lot together. I helped her get sober a long time ago. Quite some time ago. I was reached out to saying that she was homeless and, strung out and, no one, she wouldn't listen to anybody, and I was just like that one person that kind of just like spoke to her, that she listened to, right? So I took her to detox, fast forward. She went down to Miami, had Fallon in rehab with some scum. He's never raised her, never claimed her, never nothing. So I have a soft spot for Fallon. That's why I charge $125 a week on a night, and that's nothing if the price isn't daycare.
It's not expensive at all.
No, and I do it because she's a friend, and I do it because I love Fallon. I don't know Cameron very well, but
We'll come back to the topic of Fallon's stepfather, Cameron, later. But Kirsty seems to want to use the information she's divulging as a way to paint herself as a saint. And to be fair, it's also worth mentioning that most of the people that spoke about Kirsty did so painting her in the light of a loving mother who adored her own children. But it's worth noting that Kirsty had a history of battery dating back to 2010, where she was ordered to undergo counseling and avoid contact with the victims of her assault. She also had a history with drugs. She goes on in her interrogation to briefly mention Fallon's stepfather, Cameron, before continuing to discuss the details that transpired on December 9th.
I don't know him. I know a little bit. I'm trying to get to know him. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Long story short, he drops Fallon off this morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, and she stays. She goes in the room with Harper. She plays with Harper for a decent amount of the day. Her and Harper, my daughter, are like best friends.
Okay.
So they play, and then finally we end up going to the park. This is hours later.
Yep.
So for breakfast she had the cereal bar, lunch, cheese puffs. They had some goldfish, graham cracker, chocolate ones. She was eating fine. She only eats junk food, right? And at my house we incorporate vegetables.
Which says she had problems? I'm sorry.
That's all that I eat too.
I'm trying to keep up with you. You said cereal bar for breakfast and
cereal bar for breakfast, and then she had goldfish, cookie, the chocolate ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then she had cheese puffs.
Okay.
And then she had some of her yogurt. I buy her silk yogurt because she is non-dairy. So she primarily does almond milk and stuff like that. So I buy her specific things that she likes. She is very, very small. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but she doesn't really eat much, but when she does, it's typically junk food. So, that's just what it is. But anyway, so she ate that. Okay, so we get in the car. Morgan Falls is what? A mile and a half from my house.
Yeah, barely.
Kirsty is referring to Morgan Falls River Park, which leads to Overlook Park, a popular destination for families with kids as it has a nice partially covered kids' play area overlooking the Morgan Falls Reservoir.
We were the last people there.
Right before dark, though?
Yeah,
Okay.
right when it was getting starting to get dark.
Probably 5:30.
Ish. We started leaving. No, when it started getting dark, it was like I have on my phone. My phone died when I was out there. But I have 4:26. How's my girl? So we're about to go to Morgan Falls. My phone is about to die. We just pulled up. She said, "Tell her mommy misses her." And then here's a picture of my daughter and Fallon playing together, besties.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm on the floor. The reason why I'm right here is because I'm on the floor with my infant. I always bring like a little picnic thing, snacks, blanket, going on. And you got 3, you try to monitor it all. So anyways, I put both the babies on the swing, my babies, on the bucket swings. And then she goes down the slide, falls off, and when you go down a slide and he dropped. That's what happened. And I was telling him she dropped, but I don't know if that had anything to do with anything. You know what I mean?
Did she cry at all?
When she's such the most quiet baby, and that is alarming in situations like at home.
Gotcha.
Kirsty has just admitted that Fallon is a very quiet child. If detectives were wondering if maybe the child had behavior problems and an adult lost control while dealing with that through abusive discipline, well, Kirsty just ruled that out. The detective peering off into space and reaching for the back of his head may indicate a restructuring of questioning strategy. It's clear that letting Kirsty speak is the most optimal thing he can do right now.
And that is what has been an issue for me, but you can't go to a mother and say, hey, the man you just married, I understand his past, but, I would maybe look into that a little bit better, or maybe not leave him with him all day on Friday. You understand what I'm saying?
Wholeheartedly, yeah.
That first of all, I would never marry a man with a record like that.
Yeah.
Second off, you're never going to be left with my child.
Yeah.
Like I said, I wouldn't even let them babysit my children.
No, I wouldn't either.
So
no way, Jose.
At this point, it's unclear exactly what past Kirsty's referring to when it comes to Cameron, or what this has to do with the damage Fallon suffered while in her care. After dropping Fallon off with Kirsty, Cameron was nowhere near the little girl. This is the second time she's mentioned Fallon's stepfather. Regardless of what his past may be, the fact remains that Cameron was not present during the time Fallon appears to have suffered the injuries. Kirsty was.
So anyway, she's always at my home. I feed her, I bathe her, I do everything for her. I try to limit her mom's stressors to the maximum degree. Basically.
I was curious too. I was seeing that was pretty good. Do you have like any other pictures of her today?
Oh gosh, I'm all about the pics.
Cool. I mean, can I take a look? I just want to see because I'm just trying to play catch up. So I really appreciate you doing that.
I am all here. Let me go make it easier.
And these are today? Okay.
So these are.
Wait a minute, that can't be her. That's your baby, right?
I'm messing with you. That's my little stud, Muffin. I love him.
So which one? Okay,
that's
so
Fallon.
She's a cutie.
And that's my baby Harper.
Oh, what a sweetheart.
Yeah, so I have a 3-row seat. So I put their car seats in the back, and then I put my baby boy, face forward in the middle. Because I've been in 2 really bad car wrecks.
Oh, yeah.
So I try and, I just got that sticker on there today. I mean...
Oh, this was today?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That was from today?
I don't know about this picture, but this is definitely today because that was the jacket she was wearing this morning. Sometimes she likes to sleep in my son's crib.
Aww.
So I put that little love, those little beepy things.
Yeah, the boppy or whatever it's called.
Yeah, and then I keep her safe, just in case if I'm in the living room or whatever, because she's still little, whatever. But
I'm trying to do this and go back to the one because I'm just curious.
Which one?
The last one that you had shown. I'm sorry.
Looked like they're getting along so well, huh?
Oh, with them two?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're best friends.
Oh,
well, you can go. I mean, really, if you look at if you look at my life is centered around my children. Was them into playing. Like I said, I consider her my child. She's literally, a part of my family. Gosh, she is right there. That's my son and my daughter. So we really, we really have made it something so special. That's why I'm really making sure that she's not. I don't know why he told me that she was gone.
It's possible that Kirsty may think she's coming off as a caring and responsible adult by showing pictures she took of her kids and Fallon that day. But in reality, the detectives are likely looking for visible signs of injury that may have been present during that time frame. If detectives were previously considering Chris and Cameron as suspects, this information might help rule them out. Next, the lead detective steps away, allowing the second detective to present his own questions.
You know what I mean? Then I want pictures and I need...
I'm sorry. Getting this.
Oh, no, it's okay. So, yeah, just hang tight. We'll, I'm just trying to, like I said, I was just trying to get caught up. So clearly, the little girl she went to the hospital. Now, that's what I don't understand. So she, again, I was literally asleep. And my phone rings at roughly 11 o'clock and I came in. So that was where you believed, I guess, that she may have fell off the slide or whatnot?
Okay, so, I mean, to me, the slide, the thing, whatever, that just sounds like, But then, like, on the bottom of the slide, there's like the bottom of the slide, and then you could, like, when you lift your head up, the only thing I could think of is there maybe, because I noticed, like, a little bit of red right here. It's nothing serious, it's like a little bit of red. Mm-hmm. But that was it. I'm like, there's nothing serious enough to where it would be like, oh my gosh, like I need to rush her to the hospital because internal bleeding. You know what I mean? Like my child fell off the top of the playground. Mm. But a huge difference. Yeah. So I played it like it was. You know what I mean? Went home, laid her down. She wanted to lay down for a minute. So I laid her down. She has her own bed, actually, at my house. I have a bed for my daughter, and I have a bed for her. Laid her down next to her, and then cooked dinner. I cooked mac and cheese and vegetables.
Was she playing at the house when I got back? Was she okay then?
She was playing for like a second, and then when she wanted to go lay down. So in my daughter's room, she has a TV. She has all this stuff they just love. So that's like the little spot, and then they have a playroom too. She went and lay down, and then just for a minute, and then I was like, Fallon, are you hungry? You want dinner? And she ran. You can ask Jeff. I'm not yelling so he doesn't think. She ran to the kitchen. I'm thinking, oh, baby, she's hungry. She feels good. She's great. She made me lay down for a second. Whatever, we're cool. And then doesn't eat. And I'm thinking, oh, that's weird. You know what I mean? You were just so hungry. I'm not giving you candy, you know? Or I'm just going to keep giving you candy. And, like, that's like, I think what her parents might do, say, it's just easy, wean your way out is candy and chips.
Mm-hmm. Just to make it easy, just to get the food in them. Yeah, I get it.
And I'm overweight.
It's not great parenting, but hey.
No, I get it too, but I'm overweight and I don't want to do it to my kids. So basically I'm just trying to like have healthy options at my house.
Okay, cool.
So anyway, she didn't eat. Harper, I ended up giving all the food to my dog. I literally just threw it. She had like 2 bites. I think she had like the veggies and then maybe 1 shell of a noodle.
Barely anything.
And then the rest I just gave to my pet because I ran out of dog food and
it happens.
I couldn't go to the store. I was trying to cook dinner, trying to do all this. Didn't want to leave her. So we stepped outside for 5 minutes, whatever, 10 minutes, smoke stay. I don't even know how long it was. Not long at all. Go back in there and check on her, and she's looking like this. And I'm like, what is that about?
Yeah.
Like, so my daughter has a unicorn. I built her like a unicorn. You saw it, the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And she was just like this.
Yeah. Eldon and you can get them out of here. I'm going to go talk with them real quick. Yeah. So there's no, just so we can get this whole thing going.
Am I talking too much?
No, you're fine.
In the middle of Kirsty describing the events leading up to Fallon being hospitalized, the lead detective excuses himself again to go into the other room and speak with Kirsty's partner, Jeffrey Myers.
She was, and then that's when y'all called, when she had the distant look, I guess, that when you called the ambulance?
She had the distant look. I put her in the tub because shell shock. You know what I mean? That cold water.
Yeah.
Sometimes can, just do the trick, just real fast. So she was in her diaper and even still in her socks. And because I don't want to shell shock her too bad.
Just put her in the tub with her socks and diaper?
Like literally like sat her down like this, shine the cold water, held her back, like the back of her neck, like this, and nothing. Didn't even respond to the water.
Put yourself in Kirsty Flood's situation for a moment. A 2-year-old that you're watching for someone else is displaying signs of cognitive decline so severe that they're refusing to eat and are unresponsive. What would you do? You'd likely call for help immediately. What kind of person runs a cold bath to submerge an unresponsive 2-year-old child in it in their diaper and socks? Shell shock is a term that started being used during World War I to describe a type of PTSD some soldiers experienced at war. This has nothing to do with resuscitating a toddler that's unresponsive by submerging them in cold water. What's even more frightening is that Kirsty made the statement that this can sometimes do the trick, as if what she said is common practice. Bizarre doesn't even begin to explain this.
So she just lost consciousness?
Yeah.
You're saying that after she had fallen in the at the park.
Well, her dad just told me he had the flu yesterday. Or on Monday.
Okay.
And she's been sick.
Okay.
So I say that to say she's been sick because she got my 8-month-old son sick, my daughter sick, all of us sick. You know how that goes. Yeah. And that was a couple weeks ago, but they said it was a sinus infection. And then on Monday he calls me. I don't watch her on Mondays. Calls me around like, I don't know, 8 in the morning or whatever. He's like, hey, can you watch Fallon? I need to go to the hospital. I feel like I have, or I feel like I'm super sick. And then apparently he had the flu. And then he drops her back off at my house. And I'm just thinking like, I don't even know. You know what I mean? Like, I just wouldn't do that. We don't think the same.
No.
He's also on methadone. So, you know, he no judgment at all, but I just know that your mental state, if you're on methadone every single day, is not going to be the same as it would be if you weren't.
Yeah.
Methadone is a synthetic heroin. They need to take that off the street. I don't know why the doctors still give that out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If Kirsty's assertion that Cameron has been prescribed methadone by a doctor is correct, it's likely to help him deal with coming clean off an addiction to opioids. Methadone helps reduce withdrawal symptoms that can be dangerous and even life-threatening. If used correctly under a doctor's supervision and not abused, this is a good way to get your life back under control. Kirsty still seems set on painting Cameron as a bad guy, but she's doing a poor job of it. And again, whether or not he is, still doesn't explain what happened to Fallon.
Okay, so, basically, now I think I'm more clear at least. So when the kid, when she had basically, I guess, fallen off the swing there at the park, she was, talking and doing her thing back at the house as far as she would go. She wanted to go to sleep and that kind of thing. So she was.
The weird thing is that she wanted to go to sleep.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, she was communicating with you, right? I mean, she was just walking and things like that. Yeah.
It's perfectly normal for a 2-year-old little girl who initially woke up at 6 a.m. and has been playing all day to need a nap at some point. I don't need to look up any professional advice to attest to this because I have a 2-year-old who often naps in the afternoon, especially if the day has been an active one. For example, playing at the park.
I guess from what I'm understanding, the kid is pretty ill, to this point, but that's what we're trying to find out. I mean, you're saying that if she may have taken a little tumble off of a slide, but yet she was still walking, doing things, then went to sleep for a little bit, and then you came and saw her later. I'm trying to boil up what you're telling me.
She always has
And she just had like a distant look about her, and then now at what point did it go from that to oh crap, put her and she's unresponsive in the tub?
Have you ever seen a kid do that?
Do what?
This.
I mean, looking to the left or right?
No, literally like looking at you and then just go like this. And then just stop and not look back.
Okay. So you're saying she looked either left or right, one of the two sides, but just kind of looked up and that was it.
That freaked me out right there. I was like, okay, that's weird. To me, that just screams like, I don't know. I don't even know. But I know that that's something I'm unfamiliar with. And being a mother, if I'm not familiar with it, just like the CPR thing, that's why we call the ambulance, because I'm not certified and I'm not going to risk someone's life trying to give CPR if I don't know how to do it correctly.
Again, as the father of a 2-year-old, I've watched countless how-to videos on administering CPR and stopping a child from choking. Should I ever need these skills, the internet has quick-ready tutorials that can save a life fast. Also, 911 dispatchers can assist you over the phone easily. There is no way the situation Kirsty is describing would prompt me to run a cold bath and put an unresponsive 2-year-old in it. Also bear in mind, the only thing Kirsty has really described up to this point is that Fallon was looking to one side.
And she would never look back. Her eyes stayed glued to the side, to what you're telling me.
No, I mean, eventually, after a couple minutes, it came back.
Oh, okay, okay.
And then we put her in the tub, 2 seconds. Just a quick little...
Were you and your boyfriend?
Yes.
Okay.
Just a quick little... He was helping me trying to do everything in this point. Put her in the tub for 2 seconds, and then, you know, bring her back.
Neil, I mean, as far as that, I'm just saying, like, I'm sure, because I'm a dad.
Rocking her, like, literally rocking her, holding her, like, doing all that, you know, like, just the comforting aspect, just trying to get, like, the whatever, I don't know, trying to do everything that I could motherly do. The natural mother things that you could do. And nothing was working.
Okay.
And then she went, what?
At that point, after you got out of the tub,
I'm like, what? No, seriously, like, what is going on? Like, I could see if, like poison or, like, something that, you know what I mean?
yeah.
They need to run some tests on that girl. They really do.
All right.
And they need to run some tests on her. I don't know what to do from here on out, though, as far as, like, I'm her nanny, and I'm her, all this, and I don't know, I'm a friend of her mother's. I don't know if I should go to the hospital and give her a hug. He said, no, it was me.
The situation is way past hugs, and listening to Kirsty continually try to convince the officer that she's a great person who cares about Fallon is getting exhausting. When the lead detective returns, it's obvious that he's had enough and he's no longer playing Kirsty's game. He wants answers, and he asserts to Kirsty that he believes she has them. It's time for them to strip away that hope they gave her earlier in the interview.
Okay, so let's get into the meat and potatoes of it, okay? She's in bad shape. Like, real bad shape.
Like, what do you mean?
Like, she might not make it through the night.
What?
Yep. So I'm going to read you some stuff because I have some concerns, okay? These are your Miranda rights. You're not under arrest, but you're here in the police station. I'm going to ask you some pretty hard questions, so I want you to know what your rights are. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say will be used in court as evidence against you. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions and to have him or her with you during questioning. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you without cost, and he or she may be present at all times during your questioning. If you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you will still have the right to stop answering at any time until you talk to a lawyer. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So, what we have here, and why I'm concerned, is do you want to know all the issues that she has?
Yes.
Okay. According to the doctors in the ER,
Yes.
she has a skull fracture.
A what?
A skull fracture. Her brain is swollen and bleeding. She also has internal bleeding, where she has, according to the doctor, let's see here, her belly is full of blood. She's got an injury to her liver, her spleen, and her colon, and is still actively bleeding inside. She has no brain function.
Oh my God, stop.
She's got bruises all over her body.
Stop.
She's got bruises all over her head. The external part of her head is swollen. She has bruises literally all around her head. I can show you pictures.
So that picture you showed me just a few minutes ago, she doesn't look like that right now?
She is bad.
And this is precisely the hole that detectives let Kirsty dig for herself by allowing her to talk and show them pictures she took of Fallon at the park that day. There's very little question as to whether or not Fallon's own family could have caused what happened to their daughter. And Kirsty's own rambling testimony has begun to box her into a time frame where only her and Jeffrey could have possibly been around Fallon when the injuries occurred.
You think it's the blood rushing to her head and all that stuff? You know, when you're laying in a...
So when she was dropped off this morning,
Yeah.
how did she look? How did she act? Did you notice anything that was out of the ordinary?
Her dad just told me she had the flu. I mean, he had the flu.
That's it.
That's it.
You didn't see any bruises on her head, on her belly, anywhere.
She had scratches right here.
From a possible dog scratch, right?
She had a scratch right here, and then she had a bruise right here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
So
and then I think she had...
no bruises up here?
No.
Okay, none of that was there.
I mean, she wears her hair like this.
Okay.
She literally wears her hair like this. I would, if I saw a bruise on her head, I would call her mom immediately.
Okay.
I wouldn't just let a bruise just continue to be a bruise, because that's how you get internal bleeding.
Correct.
That's exactly how that happens.
Okay. And she's bleeding internally because she's got injuries to her spleen, colon, liver. And from what you told me, the only thing that happened to her today was the fall off the sled at Morgan Falls Park, where that ground is soft and squishy and bouncy. Because they made it that way so kids don't technically get hurt when they fall.
Right.
The injuries that this child has, according to the doctor, are acute, which means they have just recently happened.
There was absolutely no way that just happened.
So these injuries this child has are not consistent with what you're telling me happened. The injuries this child has are from some severe abuse or injury.
How long have you had her today? Just as a point of reference?
Oh my, I can't even believe. How exactly? How would that even have happened?
You tell me, because we weren't there. Were you the only one with the child today?
I was around a bunch of people at the park.
Now, when did you get the child today?
Were you caring for the child by yourself today?
I always care for her by myself, always.
Okay.
Every day. There's never been an issue, ever.
What time today did you get her? Or yesterday now?
6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, you had her all day long?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something's happened that we're not being told has happened. Because those injuries just don't appear.
There is absolutely nothing that I would ever do to a child, first and foremost. Second off, if you ever look at my kids, they've never been touched, and they never will be. I don't believe in violence. So the fact that that's an acute thing that just happened.
And you didn't notice any of these injuries on the child beforehand?
I grabbed him the minute I saw him and called the ambulance. Does that add up to you? In your head, does that add up to you?
Lots of crazy things can happen.
If you're concerned about something and the first thing you do is grab somebody and call the ambulance,
Kirsty makes it sound like she was so concerned with Fallon's condition that the first thing she did was ask Jeff for help and then call an ambulance. But she'd already admitted to running a cold bath in which she submerged an unresponsive toddler before holding her and rocking her. This was all seemingly before she called for help. Either Kirsty wasn't that concerned with the child's well-being, or her concerns were more deeply invested elsewhere. Kirsty doesn't see what the detectives don't understand about her side of the story.
Well, I don't understand where there would be a confusion about that.
Well, the confusion is the kid has injuries, severe injuries that she might not make it through the night, that we're saying just appeared out of nowhere. How is that not confusing?
No, that is extremely confusing, and the only thing that I could even think of is if she tripped walking with Harper on cement. That's it.
Those injuries
are minute, right? They're minute. Those are little.
No, the injuries she has are not little.
No, that's what I'm saying.
So her tripping and falling would not cause those injuries. Her skull's broken. Her skull is fractured.
I don't even understand.
Did Jeffrey do something?
Absolutely not.
So tell me how this happened.
Neither of us are violent people.
Basically, if you've got the kid, the reason I'm asking, from 6 in the morning, right?
Yeah.
The baby at 6, roughly, almost 24 hours ago, because we're almost working on 2 in the morning. A child with a fractured skull is not going to just make it through the day and then just decide by the end of the afternoon that she's sick.
Because you're saying during the whole day she's doing fine, everything's great, nothing's going on. All of a sudden at dinner time, she starts acting weird.
That's what doesn't make sense to us. Because the fractured
Her and
skull
Harper
is...
played in the room all day long. I had that in a text message.
Okay.
And that's
You was
exactly
at work,
what I
right?
said. Yes, and I watched my son. I also have live footage in my home.
Okay. Do you have access to that?
I do.
Okay. What's it recorded on?
Wise.
Wise. Okay, I don't know that one.
It's WYZE. The fact that she has all of that is heartbreaking, but the fact that any of that would ever happen under my watch in my life, it would never happen.
So this Wise recording you have,
Yep.
is it through an app or is it actually hard recorded like a DVR or something?
It's through an app.
Through an app.
Yes.
Okay. How do we get access to that?
I have an SD card I could find for you probably. Like, in it, I could pull it out. It's basically the whole, let me see.
What you looking at?
I'm going back. It is the 9th, right?
It is now the 10th. Right now, as we speak, but yesterday was the 9th.
Yeah.
Kirsty searches her phone for the cloud-stored video feed from the camera system in her house. When detectives realize that she's pulling up video that could be used as evidence, they likely move over to monitor the situation to make sure nothing gets deleted. And nothing seems out of ordinary on the camera, but when Kirsty's phone dies, the detective leaves to get a charger for it.
I can get a charger. I can get a charger, all right. We gotta keep that charged.
While the detective is out of the room, Kirsty appears to be nothing shy of defeated. It's clear the questioning is not going her way, and it seems like it's taking a toll on her. When the detective turns with the charger, Kirsty asserts that she needs to go soon because of her kids.
Is that the right one for it?
Yeah. Thanks.
Try to get over yourself, Pete. You get charged up.
I gotta go soon because my kids.
While she's not under arrest, She has been read her rights and detained, which means she's not free to leave at this time. The detective will continue to let her think she's there on her own free will for now, in order to keep Kirsty talking and let that phone charge. It's clear he thinks he's onto something.
Yeah. So, has she ever come to your house? Like, did you ever suspect it other than?
Like, I saw, just random bruises on her legs. See, the thing about Harper is that,
The kids get those things.
is exactly what I said. Harper would have them everywhere. If someone were to look, they'd be like, what? This kid is clumsy, you know what I mean?
I'm not worried about the ones on her legs or like on her elbows, because it happens.
The head thing.
Well, that, and also she got bruises all in her abdomen where she bleed.
How does that even happen?
Someone has to abuse that kid pretty hard.
That doesn't even make sense to me how that would even happen. Especially in the situation, like, first of all, she pretty much lives in my house. She doesn't sleep there, but she's there every single day. Never had any issues, ever.
Fallon's mother claimed Kirsty watched the child for 3 days a week. At the start of the interview, Kirsty stated it was 3 to 4 days a week. Now she's upping the frequency to every day. I'm not sure what Kirsty hopes to accomplish by doing this. I'm not sure she knows either. But either way, it's probably not helping her case.
But my thing is, and I can look here and you probably done this a million times or whatever, but I didn't touch her. I would never hurt her. Literally. I've given her, ask her mom, I just bought her a kitchen. I literally give her all Harper's clothes, all her hand-me-downs. I feed her, I bathe her every day. Her mom never has to do any of those things. I do all of it.
Yep.
Because I love her.
Yep.
So like, you telling me this is basically like you telling me that I'm almost like losing potentially, even though I'm not gonna claim that like a chop.
Kirsty has not been accused of any crimes so far, but since the start of the interview, she's been desperately hell-bent on convincing the detective that she's non-violent and would never hurt Fallon. Her constantly defending herself in this way is red flag city.
It's difficult, and I know sometimes it's easy just to lose your cool and things happen, and I get it. I just need to know.
But I would never lose my cool on that level. I would never lose my cool on that level. I don't even have that type of hatred in my heart.
I don't think it's a hatred thing. I think maybe things just get out of hand.
I mean, literally, the only thing I could think of, and this is like far-fetched, but I know Harper would have probably came and told me, unless they were, just playing and Harper just kind of played big sister and handled it herself or whatever, but, maybe Grace jumped on her. I don't know.
Grace is Kirsty's pit bull dog. She has so far attempted to potentially aim blame at Fallon's stepfather, a playground slide, possibly someone random at the park, and now finally, her dog.
And the only thing is that I could think of is that in the hallway, vinyl, it's vinyl, it's shit. The whole apartment is shit. I mean, you see how I'm under a whole court case with them because of how it's living and how dangerous it is. Because Fallon actually almost stepped on there was a flipboard underneath the sink. She almost stepped on the nail. An old rusty ass nail. You know what I mean? And it's like there's just stuff everywhere. But that's the only thing that I could think of would be where
We can add Kirsty's allegedly dangerous apartment to the list of only things Kirsty can think of that may have harmed Fallon that day.
I mean, there was a little bit of a point where I closed my door. Sometimes I close my door because my kid she'll walk in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. You know what I mean? And yeah, I can admit to that.
About closing your door.
Yeah, I could admit to closing my door today, yeah. For like at least an hour-ish. You know what I mean? Because Holden was asleep.
Is this before you went to the park?
Yes.
She's just admitted to basically neglecting a 2- and 4-year-old for an hour in her dangerous apartment while she closed her bedroom door and slept. It's not a great look for the self-proclaimed super nanny, but when the other detective confirms that this was before the visit to the park, Kirsty likely realizes this excuse won't fly either. She then begins hiding part of her face with the mask. This may be a self-soothing technique to hide her rising nerves.
Well, I
don't know what you want me to do. I don't know.
My concern is you're the only one that was with them all day. And these injuries happen. And we're saying we have no idea how they happened.
Like, if I could... Okay. If I could give you an answer right now that would just solve the problem, I would. But I don't have an answer for you. The only 2 things I could think of is falling on cement.
Which we didn't see happen.
Grace, like that.
Which we didn't see happen.
Either.
Did you hear her cry out at all today?
I mean, I'll hear, Fallon is the most quiet thing you'll ever ask her mom. That kid doesn't cry.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's not even my kid, you would hear from miles away if someone's brushing her hair.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a big difference.
Gotcha. All right. Give me a minute.
Okay.
Oh, and boom. Out of chat.
So anything? Are you good on your? You good on the drink right now? So.
Yeah,
anything else?
But I need to get my kids. But yeah.
All right. Well, just hang tight for 1 second. We'll see where we're at.
All right. Thanks.
It feels odd to me that detectives left Kirsty in the room alone with her phone that may have evidence on it. They may not have the right to take it from her yet, but I feel like the right thing to do would be to monitor her while she's detained and in possession of the device. But that's just my opinion. It's possible they were still under the assumption that the phone was charging. Either way, with the detectives out of the room, Kirsty is frantically texting someone. When the detectives return, Kirsty finds a spot in the video feed from the cameras in her house that shows Fallon at about 7:56 p.m. She seems to think this supports that what she's been telling the detectives is true, but in reality, it just further serves to vindicate Fallon's parents or a possible stranger at the park. It also brings Kirsty's playground slide theory into question.
Okay, is it charged up?
A little bit.
Can you see if you can pull up the camera again?
She's saying she wants me to come back and get the kids, so I have to go soon.
This is from Y. It's W-Y. Let's see who he is. Now, does it download the video to the SD card, or does it just go up to the cloud, like the app?
Man?
The video for the camera.
Sorry, I just saw something out here.
You see it?
The pyramids.
How can I get a copy of the video?
That's holding. Right there.
Okay.
In the little jumper. That's Fallon. Looks like right there.
Where's Fallon at?
Someone just gave him a kiss. Let's do the lows. There we go. Where'd she go? Hey, thank God. You can see her being normal.
What was that?
Did you see that?
Go back.
Ghost.
No, I think it's just things floating around.
No, it was ghost.
It was a flyer mob or
It
something.
was, okay.
Set your dog right there, right?
Yeah, let's let this play. Because that's a good time for him. You know
And
what I
what
mean?
time is that, roughly?
7:42.
Okay.
There's me.
And here she is.
Making plates.
And there goes Fallon, give her a hug.
Yep, see? I told you. All is well, I'm telling you. It's mind blowing. Look at her.
What time you showing there?
This is 1956-25. What is
Okay,
that?
so almost 8 o'clock.
Military time.
Whatever happened to Fallon clearly occurred after 7:56 p.m. on the night of December 9th.
See? Try it again. She wouldn't do it. Took her back again. See, it's resilient. Like, I tried and tried and tried. That should show you right there how much I care about this kid. I'm like, I don't want you to go to bed hungry. Because she just, I don't know how her mom does it at their house. If they don't feed, I don't get it. I don't get if they just give them candy and chips, but. So I tried again. And then that's when I went to the back, I guess. I think that's when my dogs decided it was free game. Fallon's right there. That's when me and him both went to the back to check on her. Because I was like, she's looking kind of weird. She's not eating. She's, you know what I mean? And then he suggested him or I suggested the bathroom real fast. And then I got her in a Moana towel and I literally just rocked her. And rocked her. And rocked her. And rocked her. And then I started freaking out. My mother instinct started kicking in. I was like, something's not right. Something's all right. You know what I mean? And then that's when we called the ambulance.
Kirsty goes on to explain that she tried to get Fallon to eat several times and she wouldn't. She also tells detectives that Fallon's mother had been on FaceTime to Fallon until Kirsty's phone died. Right after that, Chris called Jeffrey's phone. This was all after 8:10 p.m. The 911 call was placed at 8:59 p.m. It's sad to think that Kristen Friedley may have just spoken to her daughter right before things got really bad.
You don't think that she was like, I don't know, I'm just trying to think about like different scenarios maybe. That she was laying there for a little bit and like Gary stepped on her.
I don't think a dog stepping on him would fracture her skull.
I don't either. I could see like the pressure. You know what I mean?
But
And scratches and
But there's not really any scratches on her after.
exactly that's what I'm saying. So this supposed to cancel it out thing too.
And there's, I think for a dog to fracture her skull, I think that's,
No, when you say acute, you know, what does that mean?
they happened recently,
What is recently?
like today.
So it could have been this morning.
Like how early this morning do you think?
Before she came to my house.
It's almost painful to watch Kirsty grasp at any straw she can find to explain what happened to Fallon. Either her or Jeff are the most likely people to hold the answers to the questions everyone's asking.
Suppose, yeah.
I was doing what? Can I see your wise thing one more time?
Yeah.
There's
I really gotta go. My neighbor's texting me over and over again.
No, I understand. Well, can I see this right
Seriously,
before you get
John.
going? Because this was that's what we're trying to
Yeah.
Because I think this is going to help. So is this right here beforehand?
The other detective appears back in the room again, and this time he's accompanied by a third female officer who just so happens to have the same camera system Kirsty does. While they may not have seen exactly what they were looking for on the camera's recorded feed before, this time they're searching for something that can paint a better picture of what happened to Fallon, something that can't be seen on camera.
Is there a way to get a link for the video?
I haven't tried that. You can just share right here. You can share the camera, like add new users, which I don't think is quite the same thing. It's app-based. If I don't have access to the website, so I don't know.
It's pretty cool though.
Yeah, it's a good camera. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I've had
Can
it
you
for a few years.
can you see if you can get the sound to it now?
Yeah,
Let's
let me
see,
see.
and just
Well, she said it knows what I know from the sound on the bottom up, but it's got bumpers. Sometimes they're slow because
It's
they're
very- that's it.
website-based.
let's hear
Yeah, it's $30.
But say we want to get a copy of the video from today.
Let me get back to you on that. Give me a second to kind of
Do you know
play
what your
around.
noise account the Kaisha is? Like you usually or whatever?
I would have to get that for you. Yeah, I just showed you the full video.
Yeah, but
I don't want you accessing that way you could like literally watch me at any time.
Well, all I want is from the time, like from 6 a.m. until.
I just showed you the whole thing.
Well, we saw part of it, but when we're scrolling through, it's choppy because we're not actually being able to watch the whole thing. You hear what I'm saying?
We just did this.
We did, and when we stopped scrolling for dinner time, it went by itself, and it showed us. We actually saw the video playing.
Detectives want a copy of the stored video recording, and they also want to enable the sound just in case they're missing something. Obviously, if they could hear what occurred, it might give them some insight. But Kirsty doesn't like this, and seems to feign willful ignorance as to why the information would be needed. A totally innocent person would likely easily cooperate with law enforcement in this scenario because they'd have nothing to hide. Kirsty eventually agrees to email the full video to detectives once she gets home.
And I hate to say like anything against Cameron, but like,
You're a father, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you're wiping some random kids, Tata, and they go, Dada.
would you think that's weird?
Huh?
Okay. She does it all the time.
Just want like,
I've even like literally gone like this. Like you know, like when your pelvic bone right there, just to kind of like see if like she's like, oh, you know, from pressure.
So today, did she wear a diaper or is she potty trained?
She wears diapers.
Okay.
I buy all of her diapers.
So when you changed her today, did you notice any kind of bruising down there at all?
No.
Kirsty keeps on talking to detectives about how good she is to Fallon and how much she does for her before going back to the topic of Fallon's stepfather, Cameron. This is a recurring theme in both Kirsty Flood and her partner Jeffrey Meyer's interrogations. Kirsty alleges that Cameron did time for child abuse, specifically rape or molestation, and she claims Chris's family made public Facebook posts specifically about this. In a later interview with police, Kirsty alleges that Chris denied the allegations, said they were misunderstandings, and had her family remove the posts. Now, this wouldn't be the disturbing truth if I didn't consider the information and do some digging. I did find old charges unrelated to anything Kirsty asserts. I also found a recent charge against Cameron Gant from March 29th of 2023 for violation of a family violence order. Apparently, there was a temporary protection order, or TPO, issued against Cameron Gant for Kristen's sake. He allegedly broke this in a non-violent way by canceling her phone. I'm not exactly sure why the TPO was issued in the first place, but I do know Chris and Cameron are no longer together. While Kirsty's claims are concerning, she has so far been caught in several lies and changed her story multiple times in her interviews. Her boyfriend Jeff does the same thing throughout his interrogation with detectives. Also, the fact remains that Cameron was nowhere near Fallon during the time when the damage occurred. I can't demonize Cameron Gant on charges, most of which happened 10 to 15 years ago, that do not in any way correlate with Kirsty's claims or the injuries that Fallon sustained while in her care. Kirsty's lies and her attempts to redirect suspicion aimed at her at Cameron still aren't working. Whether or not Cameron Gant is a good person is not something I can conclude, but I can conclude that he didn't kill Fallon.
Who said he has a child abuse past?
She did.
Okay.
She knows. The whole
What
family.
about a child abuse past?
I'm not sure if it was an aggravated or not, but I know he did some time. And when you do things like that, you don't normally. It's kind of like one of those things. It's either in you or it's not. And
After talking about Kirsty's allegations towards Fallon's stepfather, she asks when they will know an update on Fallon's condition. It's at this point in the interview that things really heat up.
when do we know? Like when?
I don't know how long it's going to take for her to come out, or if she doesn't come. I don't know. They're doing everything they can to help her.
They can send babies out of the NICU.
They sure can.
They're premature with nothing.
They can. She has suffered a lot of damage, though. She has suffered a lot of damage. And these are doctors in CHOA who specialize in kids. And they're telling me she has fractured skull, brain bleed, swollen brain, injured liver.
Sorry.
Thank you, Israel.
Was I asked which one was your apartment key so that we can look it up for you?
We're ready to go home, right?
I don't know right now. And here's why we're still here. It's because she has all these injuries. And the person she was with today is you. And I need to know, and I need to find out how she got all these injuries. And I get we're watching the video. This is what makes everything confusing. Because these injuries just didn't happen out of nowhere. These injuries happened somehow. You're the only person that was with her all day.
That's not even fair. You cannot pin that on me.
I'm not pinning anything on anyone.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what happened.
Wow. I have children, I have dogs, I have a whole life.
And I understand that.
No, I don't think you do.
I do.
She's about to take my car and my keys.
No, she's not taking your car.
Where is she going with my stuff?
She came to get the key to lock up the house.
Why?
Because we served a search warrant at your house.
For what?
Because it's a high possibility this child was injured at your home.
And you didn't find anything, did you?
I don't know. I'm not there.
Wow.
But you have to look at it. Well, if you were in my shoes,
I can't
what would
believe you right
think?
now. You really just flipped the table. That's what y'all do, don't you?
If you were in my shoes, what would you think?
I'm not under arrest.
Right now you're detained.
I'm not under arrest.
Right now you're detained.
Well, I'm about to call a lawyer then if you're going to play this game.
Okay, you're calling a lawyer?
You're not going to keep me here. I have children I have to go take care of. You understand
Right now
that?
you are detained.
I have children.
I understand that.
Where's Jeff?
He's over there. He's in the other room.
So, what are you saying?
I'm trying to figure out who hurt this child.
Neither of us hurt this child. Maybe you should
How did
go...
this child get injured then?
I don't know how she just
was
got
with you
injured. You
all
just
day.
saw videos of her running around and fine. What else
And
do
I
you
get
need?
that that video doesn't show the whole other part of the house.
Why else? Okay, if she's so injured, why would she be running around like that? Have you ever thought about that? An acute injury? Don't you think she would be laying down?
So you tell me.
If she was hurt, wouldn't she be laying down?
what could have happened when you took her off screen?
So you think I took her off screen, went and beat
I don't
her,
know. I need to know.
broke
what
her
happened,
skull,
though. She's got a fractured skull,
bled her inside,
and she might not make it through the night.
and then brought her back out to feed her? And everybody else was just running around fine? Does that make sense to you?
Crazy things have happened. I know what is going on in this child's body right now. And it doesn't just happen out of it. You're saying that she got to your house, she was fine this morning.
It
All day
was
long, she's
6
fine.
o'clock in the morning, and this is exactly what happened. We don't sleep because we have a newborn.
I understand.
He leaves at 6 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning. He's gone. I lay her down with Harper half the time. They go to bed. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. I try and catch some more sleep while I can with Holden. So I was sleeping in with Holden. She was in the room with Harper. They played.
Did Harper tell you anything about the dog doing anything?
I can ask Harper.
But she has made statements like, oh, dog did this all throughout the day.
Harper was in there for so long with her. That's what you don't understand. They were playing all day in there. I even have a text message that said they were playing all day. Now we're about to go to the park.
Yeah.
I said, in her room, they were playing all day. Did I not? Why would I say that? What? Come on, man. Don't do this to me. Don't ruin my life.
I'm not ruining your life.
No, you're on the cusp.
I'm trying to figure out
am
what
a
happened
mother.
with this baby. I understand that.
No,
I'm trying to figure out what happened with this baby.
I did not do anything to that little girl. And you are not about to ruin my life over that.
I'm not ruining anyone's life.
I'm in the midst of getting my entire record cleared from 2000, back in the day, 2010.
Okay.
I have busted my ass in life to get to where I'm at right now.
Okay.
And I have helped her mother, and I've been there for her, and I've done all of this, and you're going to sit here and you're going to tell me, do you think I hurt this little girl?
I don't know what happened with this little girl. I just know she was with you, and now she's injured to the point where she might not make it.
We were also at a playground. They were also in the room. Do you understand that things happen in little girls that don't cry and don't talk, don't say anything? Do you understand
the massive amount of trauma that this child has sustained internal
would mean what?
that she was hurt really bad.
How?
You tell me. I wasn't there.
How would do you see bruises
On the baby?
Yes. I only saw that and that. Where did you see them? Where are the pictures? All over her head.
You want to see the picture of the baby?
All over her head. No, I don't, because it's going to make me sad.
Are you sure? Because I can show you. Do you want to see?
Yeah, go ahead.
Those weren't in your photo.
That's blood.
That is not blood. That's a fresh bruise.
Those blood clots. Those are blood clots, and you're not a doctor. Just to let you know. Exactly what she had. Exactly what she had in that picture. And the only thing that she had in that picture.
But what she didn't have in that picture is right there in the middle of her forehead.
Blood.
That's not blood. That's a bruise.
What do you think?
That's a bruise.
Okay,
look at her nose. So let's look at that. Look at her nose. Look at her forehead. All right? That is your picture.
Right.
Right? From today. That's from today.
Right.
I don't see those bruises.
That's exactly my point. That's exactly my point. The blood.
So there's no bruises.
So you're telling me there's no bruise right there?
That one that we saw, yeah. But look in the middle of her forehead. Look at her nose. There's nothing there.
You can't see that there's a hair right there.
There's nothing there. There's nothing there. I'm not making this up.
She fell off a slide at the playground after that too.
And you said
You're
she
trying
landed
to
on
pull
her
this
back.
out of, yeah, you're trying to pull this out of.
But how did she land?
On her back.
So how would that put bruises on her forehead?
You know what else she was doing? Let me go ahead and show you what else she was doing. Since you think this is like some, I don't know what you're trying to do to me, but this is like literally.
I'm trying to get to the
insane.
bottom of what happened with this child.
Well, those right there, they bounce.
Mm-hmm.
There's a metal bar right there too. You ever thought about that?
Okay, did you see that happen?
Do you know that accidents happen all the time?
I do, because I have 4 kids.
Exactly my point. Then cut me some
And then I also know that this injury that doesn't happen, just appear out of nowhere.
Exactly why my 2 kids are 100% healthy. Have you ever thought about that? You ever thought about that?
Yeah, I thought about it.
Okay, then think about it a little bit harder.
But maybe you need to think about, you're the only person with her, and she's injured like this.
I did not hurt that little girl.
What's that?
You want to talk to her?
Yeah, I was just getting a couple things down.
I need to go get my children.
Okay, just give it a second. We're actually getting one other thing. We're running something through, and we'll let you know in just a second. And get you
Let us
turned
know.
away.
Let us know.
That's what I'm trying to do, but I hear you yelling, so I'm coming back here.
Because he's being ridiculous.
As Kirsty's temper rises, the detectives swap for questioning. This is likely so that the detective who was confrontational with Kirsty can leave the room and allow the other detective to de-escalate the conversation before Kirsty asks for a lawyer officially. The detective does this successfully by assuring Kirsty that they want to get things wrapped up shortly before leaving the room. The second detective wants Kirsty to give him her theory on what happened to Fallon.
What's your theory? That's what I'm asking you. How did this child sustain these injuries?
The only thing I could think of, like I told him, is falling.
At the playground?
No, not at the playground. Other than literally walking on the cement, holding Harper's hand while I'm carrying a car seat, walking up to my car and like tripping because this baby doesn't cry. Like I told him 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't cry. She just gets back up.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
So Harper pulling her, because Harper is 4, doesn't realize it, pulling her, she could fall.
Where is this at?
Boom!
Is this...
Morgan Falls.
Okay, fair enough.
The sidewalk walking, and I parked way over the side.
So this is going on the sidewalk?
Yes.
I got you. So she's fallen down onto the concrete there, and your 4-year-old doesn't know any better. She's just kind of...
Picking her back up and keeping it moving. That's what she does.
Keeps falling down. Does this happen over and over, I guess?
Fallon falls all the time.
Okay. I mean, that's why I'm asking you. I wasn't there.
Her mom. Ask her mom. That kid falls.
But that's what I'm asking you. So during that time, she kept falling down, kept falling down, kept falling?
It wasn't like she just repeatedly kept falling down.
Okay. Anything significant? Did she fall off a curb and hit her head? I mean, or anything like that you noticed?
Well, you fall on cement, then that could be.
Well,
anything.
even kids have the innate ability to like kind of throw their arms and use it as what I'm saying is that's why I'm asking. I wasn't there. So
if you slip on vinyl, there's concrete underneath it, right?
I understand.
Okay. So there's
It's
also
usually
that,
carports. I guess that's what I'm asking. Saying a parking lot doesn't usually have a vinyl cover, so
I'm talking about inside my apartment.
Oh, very good. Okay, so
I'm talking about all the possibilities because you're asking me for all of them.
Well, I mean, but I'm being specific. You're saying that she had fallen down in the parking lot, and your kid, and that's okay. But that's what I'm asking. It's like, did she
in
do
the
so?
Parking lot?
Yeah, at Morgan Falls. That's what I understood you to tell me.
In the side, okay. Anywhere we go, Harper wants to hold her hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday we went to the playground. She wants to hold her hand.
Right.
They always hold hands. So she, will walk with her and hold her hand or whatever, and a lot of the times Fallon will fall.
Okay, that's fine.
A lot of the times. My daughter
And what I'm
both of her
asking you is,
knees.
like, again, because of the seriousness of her
Yes,
injuries
yes.
today, when you were watching the kid, was there anything that was like, ooh, you know? I mean, like, I'm probably a substandard dad, but, like, I'm scared enough of damn kids that I would watch them. I wouldn't have, like, alone time or anything. Meaning I would never shut my door because I'm afraid of what they do to harm themselves. So if they play around, and my two sons, and they do, and one goes running and clips a corner, I know I'm like, oh God, you know, and sure enough, they get bruised up, and I get all that. But I'm saying, did anything stand out to you?
I can admit to maybe not being the best.
I'm not
today
saying
because
that,
of my son and me closing the door because of napping. But if she fell, then how am I supposed to like know that?
How are you supposed to know if she falls?
Like, this is the thing. The baby doesn't cry. She doesn't cry.
Mm-hmm.
She's one of those kids that's just real quiet, which is another alarming sign. Very alarming sign from the home life.
Okay.
Very, very quiet, doesn't cry, doesn't say much. You know, just always smiling, always happy, the sweetest little thing ever.
Yeah.
And, you know, so like let's say she did fall, she wouldn't say anything. That's what I'm saying. Half the time she doesn't say anything. It's almost like she gets in trouble at home for maybe saying if she did. I don't know. But she doesn't say anything. She literally, my daughter is so dramatic. The whole world will hear about it.
All right.
This kid will fall and get up and keep it moving. This kid will get knocked over by my 60-pound pit and get up and keep it moving.
Yeah.
You know, Harper gets knocked over by my pit and is a whole ordeal. You know what I mean?
They're looking into as far as they trying to figure out exactly what the injuries and where they were caused, obviously. I mean, you do understand that, right? We didn't just kind of wake up today looking to pick on you. We're trying to figure out how a 2-year-old who really can't speak for herself got injuries. By default, because that's what you do. You care for her throughout the day. That's why we're asking you this. It's not to anger you or to push you in a corner. Or we got to.
They told me I'm not like when you tell me that I might not get my keys back and I might not be able to get my kid. Like you're basically telling me.
Well, right now we're looking. Yeah, we're having to investigate this case. We can't just. There's things we have to do before we.
I have neighbors watching my children. You guys just did a search warrant on my house.
Yes, that's correct.
You did, and you didn't find anything to do anything.
Well, you got to wait it out for a second. What I'm telling you is we have to explore all avenues. I'm not gonna lie to you.
What are you waiting on?
I'm gonna check here in just a second, and then I'll see if what the plans are moving forward. But we should be wrapping up here relatively soon.
Wait, I'm so confused. What do you mean you're gonna check?
Well, he checked with the lead investigator because I'm not the lead investigator, so I can't tell you exactly what's going on with this because it's the best way I can describe it to you.
Do you know like how long?
I mean, again, I was going to go check with the lead investigator. That's
Once Kirsty is alone, she calls her mother on the phone.
I can't even believe this. No, I'm not okay. They're trying to f me up. Yes. He's in the other room. They're trying to f my life up. They're trying to f my life up. I'm like, so can I go? Can I get my keys? Can I go get my kids? Can I go do this? He's like, we'll let you know in a minute. We'll let you know in a minute. I'm like, are you taking me to jail? Like, are you about to ruin my f***ing life? They don't know. She's in critical condition. The other cop told me she was dead.
While making another phone call, the detectives return to issue Kirsty a search warrant for her phone. She's also about to find out something that changes everything.
Hey, Kirsten. Are you actually on the phone with someone?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
What is this?
This is a search warrant.
For what?
We're going to seize your phone.
What?
Yep.
You can't. What?
Yep.
It's a valid search warrant, so
Valid
I'm the
search.
judge. So we need to take your pen.
So how
Here's
does...
the deal. I just called the doctor, and Fallon is dead. No lie. She's at the morgue right now.
Wow.
She's gone.
Wow.
Her injuries were that bad that they couldn't save her.
Did you just hear that? So they're seizing my phone. So, I guess, how long are you gonna have my phone for?
Probably as long as it takes for us to process it, which could be 24 hours.
Okay, so when then I come back here and get it?
Yeah,
We'll contact you or listen back to you.
because I have Jeffrey's number. I can call him and y'all can come back and get it then.
I know. Alright, well, let me go ahead and, read over this paperwork before I give them my phone.
Let me have your copy to keep.
Okay. Alright, love you, bye. I actually have quite a few things I have to write down.
Well, here, let me, before you go.
I have a psychologist appointment tomorrow.
We're going to give you these things back, but we're not going to allow anything to be manipulated right now.
It's not going to be
okay?
manipulated.
So just, we're
It's
going
in
to
your
get back
custody
to you
now.
right now, okay?
Kirsty's in her custody right now.
I have a psychologist appointment tomorrow. Do you not understand that?
We
I
do
think-
understand
yeah,
that.
so
No, you
we can
don't.
get you to this.
No, you don't.
Right
okay?
now, our main
But I
priority is
am nurse, so-
investigating.
You just took it out of my phone. Out of my
I
hand.
did,
Okay.
yes.
Search
You
one
have
now.
your phone number.
We
So,
Oh, aren't you lovely?
so, okay, we'll be right back with you, okay? So. You go to the bathroom or anything?
What do you mean? I'm leaving.
Okay, or,
Just sit tight, we'll come out here in a second.
No, I'm ready to go. You just took everything from me.
yeah, come in here and sit and we'll talk.
You
Come
just took everything from me. You're trying to ruin my entire life.
No, actually, we're just trying to figure out what we got here. Come with me, come here. Come here 1 second.
No, literally, they're trying to ruin my life, babe.
Man, listen. Hey, listen to me. Look at me. Let's walk in here so we can talk, and I'm gonna answer
No,
any
you
of your
guys are
questions.
just taking.
Ma'am, listen to me. Now, do you want me to explain
Like,
this?
I'm not a
to you?
human. This is
All
why
right.
they talk about
Come
y'all the way they talk about y'all.
Okay, and then I understand.
Because y'all don't treat us with respect.
Okay,
You don't
come
even
and ask
have
me.
proof or facts
Ma'am.
or anything, and you're treating me like that.
Ma'am,
How
come
dare
in. Come in
you?
and have a seat.
So disrespectful.
Listen.
Seriously, so disrespectful.
All right, I'll get something for you. Now listen. Okay, you know. Okay, let me grab something to clean that up.
Kirsty has just been informed that the child she was looking after, who suffered horrific injuries while in her care, has passed away. This is a child she claims to love as one of her own. Yet when she receives the news, her main concern is that her phone is being seized. She shows no immediate humanity for the fact that Fallon has died. Kirsty says she wants to write a few things down from her phone, but detectives are concerned that she may attempt to destroy evidence. And now that the warrant has been signed by a judge and served, they can confiscate her device at any time without her consent. After Kirsty's phone was taken, she sent the following message to Chris.
I don't have a phone. They took it. But I love you and Fallon so much and really hope you know I would never hurt her. She's been with me for forever and has always been so happy, and we both know that. She's the sweetest little angel and never even cried. I love you, and I'm praying you find it in your heart to forgive me. And I know I can't say as much as I need to, but I would never hurt her. She was like a second daughter to me. When you're ready, please message me. In the meantime, I'm deactivating my Facebook. I love you.
Kirsty's first interview concluded shortly after this, and she was released pending further investigation into the death of Fallon Fridley. While Kirsty was being questioned, her boyfriend Jeffrey Myers was also questioned by the same detectives in another room. According to Kirsty, he and Fallon's stepfather Cameron worked together at a landscaping company on different crews where Jeff claims Cameron got him a job. Jeff also claims that he and Kirsty have been together since around 2014 and living together since 2017. Jeff admits to being in and out of jail due to addiction, but says that since the birth of his and Kirsty's 8-month-old son, he's been trying to do right by his family. In Jeff's interview, he claims he left work at around 5:30 a.m. on December 9th, and that when he got home from work at around 5 p.m., no one else was in the house. He then proceeded to take a shower like he normally would, and when he got out, Kirsty and the kids had arrived home, he suspects, somewhere in the realm of 6 or 6:30. Jeff is questioned about Fallon's demeanor at this time.
I didn't see her until I got out of the shower. I got out of the shower, and she had already put her to go to sleep. So I didn't see Fallon until she woke up to eat dinner. That's when I saw her.
So she was put to bed for like a nap?
Yeah, she was tired. I could hear her crying like she was trying to put her to sleep, go to nap. You know when babies get tired, they start whining or whatever.
Yeah.
Jeff continues on, claiming that he heard Kirsty putting Fallon down for a nap. Next, he played with the kids while Kirsty made macaroni and cheese. So far, according to Jeff, he had yet to have any interactions with Fallon.
So the first time you actually physically saw her was like at 8:30?
I saw her asleep. I saw her napping.
Yeah.
And then she cooked dinner, and then when she made dinner, it was like 8:30, she yelled, "Fallon, come eat." She yelled it a few times. Fallon came right out the room, came and gave me a hug, because that was the first time that I had seen her since I had been home. Really seen her, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was fine. She seemed fine. She gave me a hug, sat down at the table, and we tried to get her to eat, and she wouldn't eat, man. I don't know. Kirsty says she deals with that all the time, though, about her not eating. Yeah. So I don't really know what goes on during the day when I'm not there, but...
So she came out of the room, ran out of the room like normal, everything seemed fine?
I didn't think she was going to even hear her name be called, honestly, because she called it from the kitchen. And you saw what the kitchen is compared to the bedroom.
It's a little bit ways, yeah.
Right, so I didn't think she would hear. She came right out, looked fine, gave me a hug. She made her plate. Both the kids, Harper and Fallon, Holden was already asleep, sat down at the table. Harper started eating. And
Holden's your son, right?
Yes, sir.
You said he's 8 months?
Yes, sir.
And you said Harper's your daughter?
She's my stepdaughter, pretty much. It's her. She has a baby by me now, but it's still...
You're being the dad?
Yeah. Yes, she's 4. We're about to be 4.
Yeah, okay.
But, yeah, they ate. Harper was eating, and she always likes to brag, saying, "Look, I'm eating all my food. I'm eating all my foods," because we're trying to get her to teach Fallon to do that. And Fallon wouldn't eat. We're like, "Fallon, you don't want to eat, you don't want to eat." We're sitting there, and she's just looking at us. And she does that sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, she's a very quiet child. But this time, like, I'm trying to get her attention, and she's kind of like staring off to the right. Like, she wouldn't make eye contact with me. Mm-hmm. I thought that was weird, so I'm snapping in her face. And eventually, she would make eye contact with me and was coherent, you know, like, would understand what I was saying. Mm-hmm. So we said, "Are you okay? You okay?" And she wouldn't say anything. So she was kind of breathing funny, like, I don't know, like maybe she was trying to catch her breath, but wasn't out of breath. I don't know. It was weird, man. I've never heard the noise that she was making before, but we laid her down. She was fine. We stayed there for a few minutes to make sure that, you know, she was okay.
Okay.
We laid her down, saw that she was okay, left out, went and smoked a cigarette. We both said, "Now let's smoke a cigarette." I said, "Let's go, when we get done smoking the cigarette, let's go check on Fallon. You know, I'm worried about it." We were both worried about it. She said, we both agreed. We got done smoking the cigarette. I don't know how much time elapsed since then, honestly. No more than 10 minutes, probably 10 to 15 minutes. Can't be no longer than that.
Now put yourself in Jeff's shoes. You're starting to suspect something isn't quite right with a 2-year-old in you and your partner's care. She's exhibiting signs that she may not fully be responsive, and her breathing was described as a noise you've never heard her make before. Would your reaction be to disappear outside with your partner to smoke for 10 or 15 minutes and leave the child unattended? Probably not.
So we went back in there, and she was in the same position that we had laid her in on her side, and but she wasn't making any the noise that we had heard from her before. She wasn't doing anything. So I checked her pulse. She grabbed her. She sat her up. Mm-hmm. We tried to wake her up. She wouldn't wake up. I checked her pulse. She had a pulse. Tried to get her mouth to mouth, because I could tell that it was like she had shallow. It was really, I could barely feel it. You know what I mean? So we're getting her mouth to mouth. We don't know how to get mouth to mouth. We should have taken that class, and we said we were going to take that class too before Holden was born about the CPR, but we don't know what we were doing, man. So we put her in the bathtub, trying to shock her into waking up. In that situation, I don't know how to handle anything, man. I've never been in a situation like that.
I get it, man. It's scary. It's scary as hell.
And it's not even my kid, you know what I mean? So
I get it. The first time I had to do CPR on a kid, it wasn't my kid. Man, it jacked me up.
Yeah, I don't want to, you don't know your own strength when you're in a situation like that. So you don't want, I was terrified. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. But
okay, so
we put her in the bathtub. She didn't respond to the bathtub. She was only in there for like 15 to 20 seconds maybe. Got her out. I said, let's call 911. Called 911 immediately. The lady walked us through how to give CPR, and then you guys showed up.
Yeah, okay.
The events described are awful to hear. I just can't understand the reasoning behind the cold bath. And Fallon's breathing that Jeff describes hearing might be what's known as agonal breathing. According to WebMD, agonal breathing is
a natural reflex that happens when your brain is not getting the oxygen it needs to survive. Agonal breathing is a sign that a person is near death.
It seems like whatever happened or began to happen to Fallon that caused her injuries started before she sat at that dinner table.
Was anyone helping Kirsty babysit today, or she was just with the kid by herself?
She was just, as far as I know, she was just by herself.
Okay.
She's been doing this for months now, man.
Like since August, something like that?
I know since summer, taking care of 3 kids with no issues.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So this is like totally...
just crazy.
Yeah. I don't know how to feel, man.
It's shocking.
There may not have been any incidents in the months leading up to Fallon's death while Kirsty babysat, but on December 9th of 2020, there definitely was. And right now, that's all that matters. The detective leaves the room for a little while before returning with the second detective from Kirsty's interview. He explains to Jeff that Fallon is alive even though, like Kirsty, Jeff was already told by another officer that she'd passed. The detective goes on to describe Fallon's injuries in full detail. Jeffrey Myers acts as if there's no way Kirsty Flood could be responsible.
Like she's getting beat or something? Is that?
It looks like it.
Sir, I'm not just trying to stick up for my fiance because it's my girl and my baby and my mother or anything like that. This girl does not lay her hands on these children. I can tell you that. I promise you that. I've been a witness to her being a mother to her daughter since she was 1, and I've not seen her spank her not one time. So with these injuries, I don't know what happened with Fallon. We love Fallon like she's our own little girl. Like, I can show you pictures where we spend time with her like she's our own kid. So this is completely baffling to me. I don't know where that would come from or how or anything like that. I know that she was sick and her family or her father or stepdad was sick or whatever. That's the only thing I know.
Yeah. Well, sickness wouldn't cause the injuries that she has.
The detective goes on to inform Jeff that the injuries Fallon sustained were not caused by normal child activities. These were clearly signs of extreme abuse. Jeff rehashes exactly what happened from the moment he got home again for the second detective, before the leading detective asks Jeffrey if Kirsty has ever hit the children.
You say you never saw Kirsty ever smack, hit, anything to a kid?
No, sir.
None of your children never saw her at Fallon?
Well, Holden's only 8 months old, so but Harper, like I said, sir, that's not my kid. So I don't discipline, I don't do anything like that. I let her handle it because I feel like that's right.
Fair enough. I'd probably do the same thing.
She grounds her. She takes away things. She may yell at her. She may curse at her. But I have never seen her lay her hands on her, not one time.
Yeah.
Not in the almost 4 years that I've known.
And you weren't home when Fallon actually got there this morning, right? You were already at work.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, man.
I'm sorry.
No, I
I'd
didn't.
like to be more help, man. That's just
No,
glad
yeah.
this little girl's okay.
Yeah, me too, because nobody deserves this.
I'm sorry.
All right, let me, we're gonna go confer, and we're gonna see what we can get you going here, all right?
Yes, sir, I appreciate it.
After detectives leave the room again, Jeff sits alone frantically texting someone from his phone. I don't know who it is for sure he's messaging, but I wonder if it's Kirsty. If you'll remember in her interview, she was also frantically messaging someone while she was alone. Then when detectives return, they inform Jeff that Fallon is no longer alive.
She is now deceased. And I think now's the time. If there's information that we know that has not been told to us, now's the time. Because it's now or never.
Oh, man.
She is dead. And this time, I'm not bullshitting. She's down at the morgue right now.
Detectives go on to inform Jeff of Fallon's injuries, but he maintains that he's given them all the information he knows. He also continues to claim that he and Kirsty treated Fallon like one of their own. As the detectives prepare to leave the room again, one of them brings up the topic of disciplining children.
I'm terribly sorry.
That's crazy, man.
It is. That's what I'm telling you. I've got kids too. I've had all my kids obviously are beyond 2, but what I'm telling you is that I've had times where I've spanked my child and I was like, damn, did I hit my kid on the ass too hard, and I get mad just like anyone else.
But before I used to touch the whole discipline thing, but my son's not old enough yet, so
right.
We haven't even gotten to that point yet, you know what I mean? That's why this is...
Well, I mean, like I said, I stand by it. We're being recorded.
I got whooped as a kid. And I
don't get me wrong. I mean, no, what I'm saying is, like, I know there's parameters and limits, but I will never apologize for trying to, because my kids are well-mannered. They all say sir and ma'am to people. They're good, all right? Now, there's a person that would listen to this say, I think I'm a fool one step, but I don't give a shit. But I'm saying it doesn't, I get if there is, if people fly off the handle and get pissed, because I am a prime, again, I'm not lying to you, I'm kind of incapable of doing so. My kids make me more pissed than anything I've ever seen. Now, I can honestly say I've never done anything, even if that means I go outside and seed for a minute, but, that's all I'm looking for. If there's something that makes more sense because of this, it's just more helpful if that's the case than to not come forward with it. Okay, and that's what I'm basically saying. Even if it's a notion of something that has been said to you, then I would say so. Say if not, I'm not asking you to say anything that didn't happen.
I want to help you guys. So I've been truthful with you guys.
Understood.
As much as my knowledge.
So, all right. Well, let me go on ahead and find out what's going on, and we'll keep you up, and we'll try to hurry up as much as we can. But obviously, you can tell this is not something. Yeah, this is something small. So, just give me 1 second.
This is fine.
After detectives leave, Jeff speaks with someone on the phone and explains the situation. At one point, you can actually hear the moment where Kirsty begins to scream in the other room. This is the point in which things got heated in Kirsty's interview between her and the leading detective.
Psychologist appointment tomorrow. Do you not understand that? No, you don't.
That's what I'm saying. Hold on, I can hear her yelling. Hold on, I'm trying to see what she's saying.
Oh, aren't you lovely?
And I hate her. She gets wild look like that. You know how she gets.
What do you mean? I'm leaving. No, I'm ready to go. You just took everything from me.
Come in here and sit, and we'll talk.
You just took everything from me. You're trying to ruin my entire life.
No, actually, we're just trying to figure out. Come on,
Everything all right?
No, literally, they're trying to ruin my life, man.
That's my girl. I want to make sure everything's good.
We're trying to get her to cool down. We're trying to get y'all out of here in the next couple minutes. She's upset, as can be expected in a situation like this. Say, all we're trying to do is get her to calm down, take a seat so we can get y'all out of here in the next, hopefully, couple minutes, okay? So, like I said, everything's fine. Just, we gotta get to, we have to do our due diligence to continue to investigate it to the fullest. Then we're gonna try to get y'all out of here, okay? That's all the list.
All right.
We good? Need any water?
I'm good.
These restroom or anything?
I'm good.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
If you need anything, just knock on the door, wave at the camera, any of those, okay?
All right.
Jeffrey Myers is released shortly after this moment, but this is only Jeff's first interview. The following day, on the 11th of December, Jeffrey Myers and Kirsty Flood are brought back into the police station for further questioning about what occurred 2 days prior on December 9th. Kirsty is under the impression that she's just there to pick up the phone detective seized the day before. During Kirsty's second interview, she is re-questioned by a female employee of the department in a non-threatening manner. Kirsty claims that she helped Fallon's mother get back on her feet when she was dealing with addiction at the request of Kirsty's own brother. Kirsty says she's the one who talked Kristen into going into detox before Fallon was born. She also claims that Chris has been clean ever since. Kirsty then makes further unsubstantiated claims about Fallon's stepfather Cameron, while also claiming to look after Fallon primarily out of love. She also said she deactivated her Facebook due to the hate she's been receiving online in regards to the death of Fallon. I'm summarizing here because Kirsty rambles quite a lot. Next, Kirsty is asked about whether or not Fallon was a picky eater, which leads back into the topic of the CPR that was administered to the child.
Was she pretty picky eater?
She clearly only ate candy and just So at my house, we eat real food.
Yeah.
You know? We try and incorporate all the, you know, the grain, the veggie, the meat, the spicy, all that. We try to do all that.
Yeah.
And apparently the sergeant said she had like a carrot lodged down her throat, or I mean in her esophagus or something. I don't know if it's because she just really didn't want to eat it. I don't know. But the fact that like all of that accumulated, that's impossible to accumulate that fast. I'm sorry, but it is.
What do you mean?
All this stuff that detective said happened, you know, with her. He said that she has like a brain something, laceration of the spleen. Also, the people, this is too loose, on the recording line, I am not CPR certified, but they made me give her CPR for about 8 minutes straight like this. 2 inches deep. She's flat on your back. She's 2.
Yeah.
You don't do that with a 2-year-old. And I didn't think about that till later. Okay. You're supposed to flip them over and you're supposed to hit them around the back. There's a reason for it. The 2 little right there.
I think Kirsty's wrong about this. I'm no medical expert, but she seems to be describing what's known as back blows that you might give a choking infant. But Fallon was not an infant. Also, Fallon was unconscious. For kids older than 1 and younger than 8, mouth-to-mouth plus chest compressions are the right steps to take when a child is not visibly breathing and responsive. My understanding is that this is the technique used when the assumption is that the problem persists in the child's lungs or airways. The idea is to reoxygenate the blood to save the child. Kirsty Flood critiquing the 911 dispatcher on how to save a life is rich at best.
For no shit, there was internal whatever. No shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And my mom brought that up. My mom was like, you don't give CPR to a baby like that. You don't do that. You lift them up and you do behind the back like this. Okay. That's how you get it out of them. Okay. You don't do it like that. So whoever that professional was on the phone needs to know that.
Okay. Do you think that's how they're saying that the internal injuries.
That's the only thing I could think of. Like they said something about her stomach.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but the thing is they say go between the nipples, right?
Okay.
So when you're 2 years old, it's just kind of like there's not a lot of area right there.
Right.
So I am 200 pounds. She said to get over her like this, you know, and full force, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, like that.
So like when they say 2 inches, you mean like push down, so it goes down 2 inches?
No.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
Oh, like.
Mm-hmm. They wanted me to like plop it, and I'm like, I am not. I mean, I didn't stop.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna stop. I was gonna do whatever I had to do.
Yeah.
But I'm like, something is not right about this. And then when I would blow the air in her, I would hear this noise in her stomach.
Oh, okay.
And then I would do it again, and it'd be like this, like I don't know what it was, fluid, if what it was. And then she'd go. I mean, it was traumatizing.
I was just gonna say that's really traumatic.
And I had to like literally put her in the tub for a second, cold water, maybe shock her toe, something. That she had to lay here like this.
She just laying there.
Nothing. Nothing. And so we immediately called 911 after that. We were like, no, we just. I was like, please, 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 if there's a heartbeat, there's a chance. Please, 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 please. For the love of God, don't ruin this girl's mom's life. Please. This is gonna change her whole life. I can't imagine.
I can't either.
Like, I love my baby so much, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I mean, it sounds like you did what you could.
I tried everything. I tried to make her feel like my home was like her home. I tried to make her feel so special. Her mom said she wouldn't even cuddle with her when she'd come in my house in the morning times. A lot of times she would come and just cuddle with me in the bed. Like literally lay there with me for like an hour or two. We wake up sweating together. That's how close we were. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when everyone that came over, like my mentor came over on Tuesday, and he was like, he's shocked when I called him. He's like, oh my God, that girl loved you so much. I'm so sorry. He's like, I could just see it. He's like, she just was so happy and so sweet, but she was so quiet. That's a problem. She never ever cried. She didn't have anything to say. She just so quiet.
Kirsty tries to convince the woman that she has the patience of a saint and plenty of support around her. She also claims that she reports suspected child abuse to authorities frequently.
But I also am in sobriety, and I also have a mentor, I also have a therapist, and I also have a psychiatrist.
You have a lot of support.
I have a lot of support.
Yeah.
You know?
That's really important.
I have a lot of people who are willing to go to war for me for this. They know that, I mean, anyone that knows me knows that I'm absolutely incapable of doing anything to harm a child, ever. I've called, you know, you told me I've called defects on people? A lot. Literally, I heard one girl left her kid in a crib, screaming for like 14 hours a day, like multiple days in a row, and her diaper rash was so bad that whatever. So I called. I was like, yeah, I called immediately. You know, I heard another girl. She would always just put her kid in front of the TV in a high chair and just let it sit there all day.
Yeah.
It's not parenting.
No.
It's abuse. It's neglect.
Right.
So, you know, things like that, like the neighbor upstairs, like same thing, like, you know. You have random men going in and out of your house. You leave at 2 o'clock in the morning every night. Where are you going? You're not going to work.
Right.
What are you doing? Be a mom. Yeah. You got 3. Come on. Step up. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Kirsty rehashes the events that led up to the moment that her and Jeff went out to smoke a cigarette, during which time they left the child unattended for 10 to 15 minutes. When they returned, Fallon was completely unresponsive.
And I was like, Fallon, you okay? Fallon, Fallon, Fallon. She just, and then I pick her up, limp. And I'm like, oh my God.
This is likely the point at which a reasonable person would definitely call 911.
Oh my God. Oh my God, I knew. I knew right then, no matter what we had to do, we had to call the ambulance.
According to Kirsty's previous interview, this is not when she called emergency services. Kirsty is still leaving out the fact that she put Fallon in a cold bath. As she goes on rambling, her story is inconsistent and all over the place. Kirsty eventually tells the interviewer that she likes her energy and believes the detective who originally interviewed her isn't giving her a fair chance. She's worried about her record before continuing to paint Fallon's family in a negative light.
You can't pull something out of nothing. You know what I mean? So, you can't just... I know it's a state where it's like innocent, proven until proven, whatever the
innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah. But you know, that's just bull, because if you put that on my record, and I do, which I will, get, proven innocent, if it goes down that route, it's still going to be on my record. You know what I mean? So can he really, really think about everything he's going to be doing and really do the research on the father and stuff?
Yeah, and
the mother,
yeah.
The mother's a drunk and the dad's on meth now. And has a child realization charge. I mean,
right.
The differences are huge.
Right.
In the dynamics. You look at my home, you look at that home, you look at... I'm not trying to be... I'm just being factual. And why was she so little?
Kirsty is left inside the room again for a while before a new, more official-looking detective appears alongside the female cop whom she met last time she was interviewed. Kirsty is about to repeatedly inform the detective that she has a lawyer. And this is where things really take a turn for her as she discovers she's not there to retrieve her phone.
Kirsty.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
My hot son. There you go.
Listen, I'm Detective Mike Burson. I'm kind of assisting in this whole case.
I thought I was just here to keep our phone.
You are. And I ran down there, and they just about got your phone. You didn't have a property receipt, so it's kind of hard to find it. When you have a property receipt, they can pull it that quick. So it's just going to take a couple minutes, okay?
I'm so exhausted.
I know.
Mentally. You don't understand. My heart hurts so bad. Go ahead.
I understand. I really do. And I want to make this as fast as I can, okay? All right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Listen, just because we're gonna
I have a lawyer. Do you need to talk to him? I'm not supposed to talk to anybody.
So you're not going to talk to me?
I mean, it just depends what we're going to talk about. I just spent a lot of money on a lawyer for a reason.
Okay, so you have a lawyer.
Delaney made me feel like I was somebody I am not, and I'm not going to be made to feel that way ever again. So my lawyer, that's why I got a lawyer, the way he treated me last night.
Okay, so what you're telling me, you retained a lawyer, correct?
Did. I'll give you his phone number.
Okay, no, that's okay. Okay, then I can't talk to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, all right. I mean, that's
He has all the live footage and everything, too.
No, I saw the live footage, but no, if you have a lawyer...
You saw it was great, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I can't talk to you anymore now, since you got a lawyer,
But I'm just saying, sir, please, take into consideration how much I love this baby.
Believe me, from what I saw, I fully understand, Kirsty, I really do. Okay, all right. Sit tight, we'll get you out of here, okay? All right. All right, Kirsty, just swing over here this way. Just move your legs out this way.
Why?
Because I gotta put this on you. Okay?
Why?
Because.
I have not. No. You're not about to jam me up right now without. No. I never gave you any information about my lawyer. So you can't detain me.
Yeah, we can. You're under arrest.
For what?
You're under arrest.
For what? For what? For what?
Bring it in.
Show you the once a week.
Under arrest.
You're under arrest.
For what?
I'll show you the ones in the... Once we get you secured.
I need my phone and my lawyer. Right now.
You'll have that opportunity.
Right now. That's why I came here, was for my phone. Y'all actually just entrapped me, is what you just did.
That's actually not called entrapment.
That is entrapment, because Officer Myers just said I would not be getting locked up the minute I walk in here to get my phone. That's entrapment. I know my laws.
Well, you obviously don't know what entrapment is.
That's entrapment. He literally just said he would not be locking me up. That's what he just said.
That is not the
And my children are at home.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're with defects with your mom. They're not with you.
Excuse me, you're not about to pull my leg like that. You need to chill. Okay? Where is Jeff? In my car and everything else that I own is outside.
Still outside?
Where's he?
Jeff's in the lobby.
Does he know that you're arresting me?
Not yet. He'll know here in a minute.
Hello. That's why you slept.
Why did I smile?
Oh, get it now. Okay.
When Kirsty's phone was searched by authorities, they found something chilling in her search history. At around 10 a.m. on December 9th of 2020, the day Fallon sustained her fatal injuries, Kirsty Flood had searched the following phrases. What type of people enjoy abusing other people's children? And what does it mean to have a sudden urge to beat a child that's not yours? This was just hours before Kirsty asked if Fallon could stay at her house. Evidence gathered from the camera feed in Kirsty's home also painted a better picture of how Fallon sustained her injuries. Kirsty Flood was later indicted on the following charges: murder, cruelty to children in the first degree, cruelty to children in the second degree, felony murder, murder in the second degree, tampering with evidence, and finally, shocking everyone, aggravated sexual battery. Yes, Fallon was alleged by grand jurors to have been violated by Kirsty Flood. That's how sick this monster was. This was how much of a liar she was in her interrogation. And on top of everything, she abused Fallon in front of her own 3-year-old daughter, Harper. According to Chris on the Justice for Fallon Facebook page, Kirsty Flood had also been abusing her own children too. She alleges that authorities went back through weeks of Kirsty's nanny cam footage and found other instances of abuse and neglect. She even claims that Kirsty's young son was left in a walker for as long as 8 hours at a time. Jeffrey Myers was also later arrested and indicted on the following charges: false statements, tampering with evidence, cruelty to children in the second degree, and murder in the second degree. He knew what Kirsty was doing, and he didn't stop it. Then, in a bombshell twist, Kirsty's mother, Karen Flood, was also indicted on the offense of influencing a witness, where it was alleged that she engaged 3-year-old Harper Flood in misleading conduct to prevent her from giving information to Sandy Springs PD in connection with the murder of Fallon Fridley. While Kirsty and Jeff pled not guilty initially, on the 18th of March 2024, Kirsty Flood changed her plea to guilty and received the punishment of life without parole. Jeff also accepted a guilty plea deal to murder in the second degree. He was handed down a 15-year sentence by a judge. His and Kirsty's pleas made it so that Chris would not have to suffer a lengthy trial in court. I guess at very least, justice has been served to Kirsty. But believe it or not, the battle wasn't over. DFCS placed Harper Flood in the care of her nearest relative, and that relative was Karen Flood. Harper's paternal side of the family say Kirsty used to call them from jail frequently and protest her innocence, but when they started to realize she was guilty, they stopped taking her calls. According to them, this is when Harper's biological father, Avery, was cut off from contacting Harper. Kristen Fridley loved Harper Flood and began to promote a campaign run by Harper's biological family called #BringHarperHome. It was aimed at paying for legal bills associated with taking Kirsty's family to court in order to get custody of Harper, who they say, at the time, hadn't even received adequate counseling after witnessing her own mother beat her 2-year-old best friend to death. The GoFundMe raised over $16,000. In May of 2021, Avery was finally awarded custody of Harper Flood. The last update to the campaign shows countless photos of Harper looking happier than ever with her father, siblings, and paternal side of the family. I have no further updates on Harper's status, but I certainly hope she's doing well and continues to smile. Kristen Fridley continues to post on the Facebook page, where she has since welcomed a son named Asher into the world on December 18th of 2021. She's also looking forward to welcoming a baby girl into the world this year. That baby girl's due date is December 9th, 2024, the day Fallon was attacked. I have little doubt that Fallon's siblings and Harper Flood will ever forget the angel that was Fallon Lynn Fridley. If you see something, say something. Never hesitate to save a life, or inform authorities when a child's well-being is threatened. There's no excuse. There are a number of resources that can help. Here's a list of numbers you may need right now. I'm Mr. Black, and this is The Disturbing Truth.